I saw my husband playing video games, and I was like, if he can play video games at night, why couldn't I do something more productive and build a business? It's understanding that A, work is going to be here tomorrow, and B, that I'm building this for myself. If I don't post in social media, I'm not gonna fail anyone. If I don't have three more pieces put together in the right way in the website, not gonna disappoint anyone. I am missing out, and I remind myself that I will have to put a lot more money to achieve the level that some of these people are achieving, or the level of content, or be able to outsource a lot more. So I have purchased a little bit of the "we do what we can" mantra.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Busy Moms Get It Done podcast. Before we welcome today's guest, I would like to put in, if you can put in the comment section, what you're currently building as a mom. I feel like we speak a lot here of moms doing, either you're working as a career mom or you're, entrepreneur. What are you currently growing? How are you currently growing? It can be as simple as you're growing a routine for you and your babies. I know that I am doing that right now while also trying to grow this podcast. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet in any of the platforms, please do. It provides credibility to this podcast. I am pleased to welcome Vale Siegrist, founder of Circular Mom Club. Vale is a senior team manager for Renaissance Learning. I think you guys will appreciate Vale's story because it's about building in a way that is sustainable. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So, Val, I would like if you can go back to, I guess, that moment where you decided to start this thing called the Circular Moms Club. First, I'd like you to explain what exactly is the Circular Moms Club. This is not your first time at building something, at founding something, but take us a moment where you felt like this business is needed.
Yeah. So Circular was born out of the joy and the guilt that I experienced during postpartum, because it gave me so much joy to dress my daughter in great clothes that look great. But it gave me a lot of guilt um, when it came to finding that next outfit, to spending that money, to being completely honest, I went to Shane or Sheen, however you want to pronounce it. But then I was like, I don't want this. Like, I want the Sheen prices, but without the Sheen quality. And I went through Reddit and I started looking for my options, like what are others doing. And at the moment, I was doing rent the runway for myself, because probably any moms in postpartum know that finding your size, it's a task on itself. So I decided that Rent the Runway was going to be my perfect fit, because I could try different things and I didn't have to commit for any piece that I didn't want. So as I was trying a pair of jeans that were two size too big, I said I need this for my daughter, because I'm literally using these outfits only to take a good picture. So
Right?
that's how I started. Yeah, it was the reality. And let me tell you, my postpartum wasn't easy. I had the most incredible support, and I still had a hard time. Um,
hmm
Not from the not getting to sleep, for not feeling that I got anything right. And that piece of putting really nice clothes on my daughter was what brought me joy. It was it felt like a hobby. It felt like the one thing that got me out of bed. So I it was I felt like between a rock and a hard place. It's how do I do this without feeling the guilt of spending money, or putting my daughter in materials that I don't want, or it felt like I had to sacrifice something for any option that I wanted. And I didn't want to drop $150 every month
Yeah,
on
yeah.
clothes that were only going to be used once.
Yeah, I mean, sounded like you found a problem. What allowed you to say, I can be the one to do this? I mean, obviously, I mentioned before you had another business that you founded, so you've had the go around before of founding something. But what does that look like? Did you feel different as a mom this time around, being like, I'm trying to do something as a mom. I'm trying to do a business. Is this like can I do this? And also you have another job. So were there any fears attached to that?
No, I probably was like the word that comes to mind is unconscious at the time. I was like, I was like, I went with the drive that I had to solve this problem, and I said, I'll figure it out later. And I find myself being like completely honest here again. But honestly, I saw my husband playing video games and I was like, if he can play video games at night, why couldn't I do something more productive and build a business? Um, I went with that. And it's like, what was the worst that can happen? That I only do this for funsies and I only like get out there. And if it fails, it fails. So probably, no, like there was no thinking behind it. It probably not great from my end, but I just decided to go for, and probably like having my prior business, like gave me the confidence that like I needed to try.
No, I kind of like that. I feel like there's certain people in the world where they're just like, I'm going to do this. And they're like, let's just go. And then there are other people who are like, I'm going to do this, but what if I can't? And then you kind of overthink yourself out of it. And it sounds like you're just the first type versus like, I'm gonna do this. Let's go. Let's go for it. Um, you're building this while working full time. You went through
Yeah.
maternity leave. Now you're back. How has that
Mhm.
process been? What is that like? How have you able to quote unquote balance it all while working, while building your business?
A couple of things. Um, the first one is boundaries. One thing that we do here at home is that 2 days a week my husband works out of the house. 2 days a week I work out of the house. So the 2 days that I have at home, I work on circular. So of course, like I do little things here and there, like everything that I can do from my phone, but the big like focus time comes like when I put Sophie to bed, and then I have 2 to 3 hours of um focus time. But I think like the challenge I'm navigating is flexibility with myself, understanding when I'm tired, what can I do to like still do something, but like not burn out. So yesterday it was like working from the bed or like looking at your to-do list, looking at my to-do list and seeing like what's the lowest hanging fruit. It's understanding that A, work is going to be here tomorrow, and B, that I'm building this for myself. I'm not if I don't post in social media, I'm not gonna fail anyone. If I don't like have like three more pieces like put together in the right way in the website, not gonna disappoint anyone. Like, and if I'm disappointing anyone, maybe they're not my right customer. So I build peace with that, and I build peace. Maybe that is the part that I did at the very beginning. I built peace with the fact that this could only take the place of a hobby, and that when it started taking on my mental health, it couldn't like I was gonna take a step back and rethink how I was allocating my time.
I feel like a lot of times we feel so attached to whatever it is that we're building. And because what you said was kind of profound, is like, I'm not really disappointing anyone. If I don't post social media, there's really no one to disappoint. Do you think that um it's you've always had that mindset, or have you had to grow into that mindset?
Ooh, I think that's one of my biggest lessons from my full-time job.
Mm,
I've been with the company for 7 years. I've grown into different positions, and I was the first one to like before getting to this company, I went through burnouts.
yeah.
And that was from like working with small startups, from building my own business, from working with nonprofits. And when I got to Renaissance Learning 7 years ago, I told myself, I'm putting myself first, and I'm not working on weekends, and rest is
Mm.
important. Um, and I saw the difference between how I felt with myself between the Vale of the 2018 to now. I know like those feelings always trickle. That's like we're having a good mantra of like work is gonna be here tomorrow truly, truly helps.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really good mantra. I wonder also how it has shifted with your daughter.
I'm still working on that. Because I think like any moms can um relate to like your mind going 1,000 miles an hour of like, do I take out the dishwasher? Do I play with her? Do I like, and then we add the layer of like, I want her to play independently. I want her to learn
Yeah,
how to play independently, but I also
yeah,
want to enjoy and like spend time with her. And then like, I want to work and I want to build my business. I want to show her how
yeah.
I follow my dreams and how I work hard, but I also want to spend time with her. So it's been a really interesting challenge that I think I put a lot I am a lot better at putting boundaries with work and my own mental health, and I'm still developing what that looks like when it comes to her. But I do think the boundary of like having my focus time after she goes to bed allows me to feel that like every like she has like 2 hours of my full attention between when she comes home from baker and when she goes to bed.
Oh, I kind of wonder, how did you decide that you're not going to burn out, especially even as you're building a business as a mom? Were there things that you had to say, I'm going to allocate this away? I'm going to, maybe this will come later. How did you prioritize what gets your priority and what doesn't?
Oh, also working through that. And I've been using Claude to be my business mentor. So I told Claude that I want to reach 50 customers by the end of the year. And I want him to use programs used by business incubators to develop me a program that help us reach that goal. So we're working on he's asking me questions and I'm giving the answers, and he gives me a tasks or like a set of tasks per week to help achieve those 50 customers by the end of the year. So that's the method that I'm using now. Is it working? Maybe. But that's what we're trying.
No, I find it very interesting that you're using AI. I don't know if you know, but I work in AI in terms of like I am a AI writer. So I write about like how
Ah.
businesses are, using AI. And so for you to be like, I'm using Claude, Claude, was there a particular reason that you said, oh, I'm going to outsource this to like an AI chatbot, or did you just find that it's easier to do with the chatbot, AI chatbot than something else?
I think it's easier because I didn't have the patience to like write applications and go through the incubator, and the time commitment will be like so much. And like selfishly, like it felt like if I had a mentor or if I had had a co-founder, I would be like bothering someone at like 9 p.m., 5 p.m. And like you are always like waiting for that response where whether like your AI chatbot can reply to you in the same moment.
No, I agree. It's like you have a personal coach right next to you to help you through that. Um, so in what I love about your business, and I think we've kind of talked about this, is just that not only are you making sustainable baby clothes or helping moms to be sustainable with the way that they view baby clothes, but you're also helping it to be sustainable for moms themselves. Or if, as a founder, you're teaching how to be sustainable. I know you're still working on some things, but I think I kind of resonate with that because I've had to come to terms with the fact that I can only build this to work around my life, not to for my life to work around it, so to speak. So what advice would you give moms, who want to find a way to be sustainable or she wants to build something alongside raising her kids?
Understand how much time you can allocate per time and be okay with that. So if it's 15 minutes, what's the one thing that you're gonna do in 15 minutes that is gonna move the needle? And the other thing
Y-
that I will add to that is um, I'm a person that likes to like if I let everything in my head, I'm never gonna see the wins. So
Mm.
15 minutes per day can seem like very little. So um I could share my experience that what worked for me was creating a task tracker in Notion. And I build it in a way where like in one view, I have all the upcoming to-dos, and in the other view, I have what has been completed. So whenever I need like, let's call it a reality check or a motivation, I can be like, oh my God, I accomplished X, Y, like 50 tasks in a month. Like I built, like I added X amount of new inventory. I posted like X amount of new posts. Like it is really like satisfactory, at least for me, and it gives me like like the motivation and the like, wow, you are working hard. You are doing something that it can help circular get to the next step, even though like in the day to day it might seem that you're not.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is kind of really seeing it visually. And I think a lot of moms are like visual learners, whereas if you're like, what did I accomplish today? And you haven't taken the time to like visually check it off, it might feel like you didn't accomplish anything at all.
Mhm.
I wonder, as you have been trying to, build in public, so to speak, have you had a day where you felt like both sides, your mom's side, your business side, your work side, were just all crashing? And how did you decide how much of that to actually, how to which one to prioritize, and then how much of that is going to be a lesson for you moving forward?
My health of always come first.
Mm,
Um, so I've been working late nights for the last couple of weeks. And now my goal is to go to bed early, like read a book, unplug. Um, and of course, all of that happens when Sophie is sleeping, right? So like she has been taken care of first. Then I take care of myself. And being okay with. And I think like the other thing that gives me peace of mind, Esther, is that at least at this point, this is not paying my bills. So I have the pleasure, the what's the right word for this? It's like I have the luxury. I have the luxury to take a day off, to say today I'm not working on this. Like I'm like I'm Jewish. We have Jewish holidays coming up. I'm 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 not gonna work. Like I'm gonna prioritize time with family, and it's gonna be okay. Um, I feel like I'm giving you the same answer twice, but that's how I'm prioritizing. Because I cannot, like, if like the way that I see it is that I think that you said it best. Like, I cannot, like, work is not here to. I need to build my life, and then comes work, and putting circular inside of the work aspect.
yeah, why do you think that perhaps for some other moms it might be harder,
I
to
think
do that?
if you're providing for your family, it can be super hard.
Yeah,
I
you're right.
I do acknowledge that I come from a very privileged background where I have a job that allows me to sustain myself. And I think that like going back to 3 questions ago where you asked me like why didn't you overthink, like I think like that's also part where I had the luxury to not overthink it. Like, if I lose if everything went wrong and I lose this money of the investment that I'm putting, that food will be still be at the table. So maybe that's another part that we can talk about, is that when I hear you say like how are you building sustainably, for me is key to build in a way that it's not generating debt, that
Mm,
it aligns with my financial goals. And the reason why
yeah.
you haven't seen me, like I build the website myself, I'm building the content
Wow.
myself. The reason why you're not seeing me like put like $1,000 per month in ads and making circular probably grow faster is because A, I don't have that money, but B, I want to build it for a grassroots level where the company pays for itself. And my goal is to get it to um, a break even point where I don't have to put money every month. Um, so that's another. way of like talking about how I'm not burning out, because I'm not like, I decided that it was important for me to not put a gigantic investment um to also make it sustainable in the long term.
I love that, and I think that that's one aspect of it that we don't talk about is that a lot of times people, have, like, ideas, and you start thinking, "Well, I can't do this because I need a huge amount of money," or "I need people to help me." But really, like, starting where you are at is really all about it. Like, I'm Christian, so I always think about the idea of like there's a passage in the Bible where I believe it's the prophet Elisha. He's talking to a woman, and she's in debt, and he asks her, and he says, "What do you have in your hand?" And she only "Oh, what do you have in your house?" And so she only had, like, a jar or whatever or, something in her house. I forgot how the story goes. And she goes and she's able to use that to pay off her debt. And I think
Right.
sometimes we forget that, like, what you had is, like, you have all the skills, and so you use that to be able to build your business, and you're using that to grow your business. And we forget what we have sometimes is really enough to be able
Mhm.
to, like, you know build what we want to build. It's going to take time for it to scale. And so I guess I was going to ask you, like, what keeps you from having FOMO, but I feel like you already kind of answered it, which is like you don't bite off more than you can chew. Is that correct to say?
Mhm. Yeah. And what do you mean by FOMO?
Like fear of missing out.
No, I know, but like in a business, like as a mom or as a founder, where would you
Well, as
see
a
others
founder,
have FOMO?
yeah, when you see others scaling so fast and growing so fast, how do you feel like you're not missing out, you know?
Yeah, I am missing out, and I remind myself that I will have to put a lot more money to achieve the level that some of these people are achieving, or the level
Mm.
of content, or be able to outsource a lot more. So I have purchased a little bit of the "we do what we can" mantra. And this is the best we got, and if it goes well from here, it's great.
Well, I love that. We do what we can, mantra. I wanted to say, go through a rapid fire busy mom
Okay.
essential kind of session. So, what is one non-negotiable in your daily routine that keeps the wheels from falling off?
Hmm. This is supposed to be rapid fire, and I'm like here trying to think of a question. Um, Maybe coffee?
Right? That's a good one. That's a good one. If you could give a first-time mom one piece of advice about stuff they think they need to buy, and what would it be?
You don't need as much as you think.
Mm. Agreed. What's one piece of tech or an app that actually keeps your household running and your business running?
Notion.
Cool. What is one thing you've had to temporarily let go of to make room for the business?
My nights.
Makes sense. And then how do you know when to put the laptop away and just be a mom for the rest of the night?
When the guilt trickles in, it's time to put the phone away.
Well, thank you so much, Vale. I really appreciate it. I thank you for your time. Is there anything else you want to add or any final advice you have for moms who are trying to build in a way that doesn't take away their peace?
I would say understand your priorities. Right now, I can share a personal story. For
Yeah.
example, um I've been trying to understand how to eat a little bit healthier, exercise a little bit more, lose a little bit of weight. And the other day I was thinking like, oh, like responsibilities, taking care of Sophie, work, circular, your personal life, your social life, like, what is like your main goal right now? If it's being a mom, go be a mom to the 100%. If it's going like dedicating to your job, dedicate to that to the 100% or circular, and like where does working out and taking care of your like or losing weight, because it's a healthy wise I'm doing great, but like I would like to lose weight, but like does losing weight fit all the priorities that I have on the table? And if I have only X amount of hours in a day, what do I need to take out of that agenda to add the losing weight priority? And you know what, I don't have much, so I don't have much time. And when I had that thought, I call it going to therapy with myself, because it's like, what would your therapist said? Um,
Mm.
and then like I was like, man, like I don't want to give up circular to like lose
Mm.
weight. So that put things in perspective. So it's like, what is important to you at the moment, and what are you willing to sacrifice for that goal?
That's a very key thing, and I think it's a lot of things that a lot of us moms kind of have to come to terms with. Especially, we were talking about finance earlier, but it is one of those things I've had to come to terms with, which is like, what do I really want? You know,
Mm.
what do I really want? Do I want to go and be the career woman, or do I want my kids to see me face to face and do it in a way where they're not like you feel like you're a burden, you
Mhm.
know? So yeah, it's definitely a trade-off, so to speak. But thank
And
you
if
so much,
someone can
Alec.
do it all, if someone can do it all, tells us that, I think that that's where privilege also
It
comes,
does.
because like
Yeah.
if you have someone cooking for you all your meals, it might get a
Mm.
little bit easier and you have more face time with your kids than if you're trying to get dinner and groceries and planning and all the stuff. So um I think we all have to understand where we come from, what are and like what are the resources that we have. Um
And the capacity. I always say I overthink, that I think I have more capacity than I
oh
actually
yes, yes, yes. Talk to me about yesterday. I was so mad. You can cut this if you want. But like I texted a
No.
friend, like I decided to cook a really good meal yesterday, and I was so frustrated. I was like, it took me an hour to put this together. I'm gonna eat it in 20 seconds, and I ended up miscalculating the portions. So then I'm gonna have to eat something else because it's not enough, and then I have to put another 30 minutes to clean everything up. Like, what's the ROI of that meeting, of that cooking? Zero. Like, it wasn't great. Like, didn't satisfy myself. And then I had to spend
Yeah.
so much time cleaning up. So yeah, that I relate to that a lot. I think I can cook
Yeah.
and I can never do it right.
Thank you so much, Valley. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on. How can people get in touch with you? How can they learn more about the Circle of Moms?
Yeah, so the website is www.circularmobclub.com. And social is circular underscore 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 club. We can have a whole episode on how we're liking Instagram handles. And it was so hard.
That sounds like it. Thank you again. Thank you to everyone who watched this. Please feel free to get in touch with Valley and also check out Circle of Mom Clubs. And we will see you next time on Busy Moms Get It Done.
Thank you so much.